Good evening, guys. Welcome back to another video over here on the Chinese Zodiac and horoscopes. Today we're going to be doing a reading for you guys born in the year of the monkey. So welcome back, all my monkey friends. How are we doing? I hope you're doing all right. We'll find out, won't we, as we shuffle these up and we pick three for you guys. If I can keep a hold of the cards, of course. I would like to also take this opportunity to thank everybody that has hit the subscribe button and shown support over 2024. It has been an honor and a privilege to do these readings for you guys. So thank you very much. It is greatly appreciated. I would also, as I'm here and so are you, and I've shared this with everybody else this week, I'm going to share a theory that I think this is the only channel that actually does readings like this. Nobody else out there that I know of or have seen does readings like this. And I know people ask me where I get my cards from, and I don't know because they were a gift, but they must be available to the public. And I've never seen them if they are. But even if people were to use these cards, and I did know about it, they wouldn't use the Theodora Chinese Zodiac book in relation to the cards in order to base the reading on compatibility rather than what the little book says. I think I'm the only person that does that. I think I'm the only one that actually, out there is doing that, which makes this channel and what I do very unique and individualistic, as we've begun calling it. So thank you very much for supporting this individualistic and unique channel. Anyway, shall we get on with it? Shall we pick these three cards? Let's stop about there. And we'll take that one from the bottom. Take that one from the middle. We'll take that one from the top. What have we got? Okay, so we've got white and two blacks there. We've got a positive and the two negatives. And it might be a little bit downheartening to see those two negatives because, as I've always said before, we are looking at a more negative perspective. We are looking at things could be better. But black isn't always an attack and white isn't always all right. So let's flip them over and find out what we've got. Okay, so the first card, the white ox, you've got things to think about. Things are going very, very, very slowly. Maybe beyond your expectations. Maybe you didn't know what to expect. And now things that are happening. You're a little bit like, well, what do I do now? Well, that sounds like a you problem. You should have pre-planned for this. You should have thought it through. That ox is a thinker. That ox is a thinking card, and it is a strategic one. This was a chess game. You knew it was a chess game. If you couldn't play chess and you didn't know the rules, you had no business moving the pieces or partaking in or participating in said game. But you did, and you sat down, and now you're in this game, and now you've realized that it's chess. So what's going to be your next move? You got to figure this one out. The ox is going to bring you some sort of clarity, though, which is good. That is good. But you are going to be reserved right now, and that, again, is a good thing. You're supposed to be reserved right now. You're supposed to be slowing down right now. You're supposed to be taking things steady right now. You're supposed to be reevaluating, thinking, and again, as I said, pre-planning your next move. This is a game of strategy. This is a game of patience. This is a game of thinking moves ahead. So you need to be thinking moves ahead. It's okay thinking about, maybe what's going to happen next week. It may be okay thinking about what's going to happen in a month. But what happens after that? What's going to happen down the road? What you do today is going to have consequences in the future. You got to work out what is worth those consequences and potentially steer away from the ones that are going to have the bad consequences or the more sort of non-preferable consequences. And I know that may sound like, the obvious, but you'd be surprised how sometimes when we don't expect things to happen and they do happen, we can be blindsided by that. And it can take us by surprise in some very, very unusual ways. So you should be prepared for that. And that ox is trying to get that thinking process going. It's trying to get things turning. It wants the cogs moving. However, I think because of your reservations, because of where you're kind of like in that place of, it's not a place of let's wait and see, more of a place of you just don't know. So you have no choice but to see what happens. Because if you have no sort of, like I say, expectation, or you didn't pre-plan anything and you didn't necessarily think it through, then you have no idea what the result's going to be because you didn't anticipate one. You didn't necessarily think one was going to happen. Then we got a catalyst card. Something's going to change. Something's going to move you from one place to another, and it's not going to be pretty, and it's not going to be nice, and you're not going to like it. And that sheep and that monkey aren't the best as of friends. And we're in a negative, and the sheep is that worst catalyst. It's going to bounce you from wall to wall, back and forth. Yes, no, hot, cold, up, down, black, white. And you're not going to know where you stand. You're not going to know what you're going to think. You don't know what you're doing. You're playing a game that you had no business playing. And okay, maybe you can play chess, but I'm talking metaphorically. I'm talking metaphorically here. This is a metaphorical chess game that you don't know how to play. And you are up against an opponent that is far more skilled than you, with the experience, knows how to play the game, and is now thanking their lucky stars that they're gonna be able to kick your ass as an amateur and get this game over and done with pretty quickly. The other player, of course, the opponent, being that universal sort of fate, destiny, karmic justice of all manner of energies and things that are pushing you in a direction that you're almost reluctant to go in because you're hanging on to the idea that if you just move one more piece, you might just win the game. You can keep moving those pieces all you want. Don't think you're going to win. I think you're going to end up being pushed back exactly where you need to be and where you should be. Because that's what that goat does. That's what that catalyst does. It's very abrupt. It's very in your face. It's very kick your ass. It's very, I'm going to come in, give you a slap. You're going to go to your knees and cry. And by the time you've looked up from your little tear sort of tantrum, it's going to be gone. And you're not going to know what's happened. Chess pieces all over the floor. Chessboard flipped over there. Still don't know how to play the game. But it's not all doom and gloom, because with change there will come opportunity. There will be. And I think right now the best thing for you to do is try and keep your head above water, but not above the trenches. If that makes sense. Keep your head above water, but not high enough where people can take shots at you. Because they will. Because if somebody sees you in a state of panic or losing control, or I want to say maybe weakness, but it's not weakness. If somebody looks and sees that you don't know what you're doing, as I say, they're going to be like, right, I can take advantage of this and I can win this game. And I can win this game easy because you have no idea what you're doing. So they'll play with your emotions, they'll play with you mentally, they'll play with you, and they'll twist things and they'll manipulate things, and they'll make that game a pointless waste of time for everybody. Humiliating, that's the word. Thank you. Humiliating is the word I was looking for. And that's what it is. And that's what it will be. Because you're trying to do something that you shouldn't necessarily realistically have started in the first place. But now you're stuck in it. You're kind of almost being forced to continue it, knowing that you're going to lose. But yet you still think there could be a chance that you're going to win. That it could all work out. Maybe it will. This is a good example of a black not always being an attack. Maybe it will all work out. But this is a black card. And that rat card being that doer means that you're not doing what you should be doing. Again, as I've said, almost as if I'm psychic. You're not doing what you should be doing. You're doing something that you shouldn't be. We're also looking at that card being in the same affinity triangle as you, so it isn't attack. This is a very good card. Along with the dragon, the rat, and the monkey, they all go in the same affinity triangle of doers. So we are looking at a very good card here. It's going to help you. It's going to give you strength. It's going to give you more ambition. It's going to give you, I guess, in some ways, that ability to problem solve, pre-plan, because that rat is a pre-planner. It's very resourceful, very practical. And above all else, will pre-plan, preempt, and try to predict any outcome that's going to happen. And that's what you've neglected to do, hence why we're seeing it here in that black space there, where you're not you didn't predict what was going to happen. Maybe you honestly didn't know what was going to happen. But unfortunately, it did happen. And the game turned out to be a lot harder than you wanted it to be. But that doesn't mean that you can't necessarily learn from this. You're just up against things that you have no control over. Emotions and feelings and, things out of your control, like other people, and the consequences of things and decisions that you may have made or may not have made, and opportunities that you may have taken or that you may have missed. It's just so much to think about and not a lot that you can do about it right now. But I think with that rat energy, you're going to be able to figure it out, and you are going to come through. As you come through this, you are going to come through this in a more positive way, despite the fact that it is in the negative. I just think realistically what's happened here is that for a long time, and when I say a long time, I mean, I'm talking it's longer than a month. It could be a month, could be a year, could be 5 years, could be a job you've been stuck in, could be a relationship you've been stuck in, could be a toxic family member that you had move in with you, could be anything. But for a long time, you've been trying to make this work. For a long time, you've been trying to play this game. And if you haven't managed to figure it out yet, and it hasn't worked out for you yet, and you're still there sitting there playing it, knowing full well that the chances are you're going to lose, is it really worth playing till the end? Is it really worth playing to the end? Because if you haven't already got an expectation of what you wanted, and you can't predict what's going to happen, but you can kind of think to yourself, well, I may not be able to win this, but there is no... What are you making excuses for? You're not going to win it. So maybe it is time just to give it up and just say, sorry, I'm out, and walk away. But we'll find out, won't we, next week when we come back and do another reading for you guys born in the year of the monkey. My next reading will be for those guys born in the year of the rooster. So if you're interested, I will see you over then next. Or over there next, should I say. If not to worry, I'll just see you next week when I do a reading for you guys then. But if you are interested in a more in-depth and personal and more involved reading with more cards and things like this, you can hit the description below, and in there you will find a link for the Patreon, and in that Patreon there are lots of different reading things, packages, or tiers as they call them, so you can choose one of those or pick one of those if you so wish to for that. But if not, then don't worry about it. I'll just see you next week. Thanks for watching, guys. Love and peace.